Hey, it's been a minute. So I'm just sitting in my office here. And when I say office, all of you moms know what I'm talking about. This is the only place that you can get any privacy. And even here, the kids come out like, hey, what are you doing out here? I'm hiding from you. There's only a few private, quiet spaces where a mom can be, and the car is one of them. So this is where I take phone calls, etc. So I finally have a video that I can post, and I just wanted to do this little intro to kind of explain a few things. And the first thing is that I'm going to be candid and say that it's been a while since I posted a video, because I started getting stirred into this weird place of like, maybe you don't have anything, exciting to post, or there's nothing really good, like everything's kind of half-baked right now. And that's all true, but then I realized that that's not really what it's about. So my friend Anne made this point to me. She was like, I haven't seen a video in a while, I'm curious what's going on at the house. And then she said something that really stuck with me, and she said, I'm sure that sending a Marco Polo and a little video tour to all of your family and all of your friends would take you forever to do. So I love that you do the videos, because it feels like it kind of covers everybody. Everybody can watch it and be caught up. And all of a sudden I kind of was like, oh yeah, that is what I started these videos for. So it was kind of a nice reminder, and I told her I really appreciated her validating that for me and giving me reason to get going back to doing videos and not worrying about the content. This little intro, I just wanted to make a couple of points about the house that is particularly regarding the following video. So I know that a lot of the stuff that we're doing looks like it's out of order and kind of all over the map, and that's actually correct, because we will start like a really fun project, like trying to do some flooring in the bathroom, or I'm trying to do a ceiling in the dining room, which will come up in a later video, so stay tuned. But when I'm doing these fun projects, there's always some big maintenance emergency that comes up. So for example, in the last couple of weeks, I was standing in the kitchen in stocking feet, and there's like a rug thing in front of the sink, and it was wet, really wet, saturated wet. And I looked under the cabinet, and there was just water everywhere in the kitchen. So it turns out that the sink faucet was leaking, and also the disposal. So at the same time, so it was kind of nice. It was one fell swoop. They're unrelated issues, but they both started leaking, pouring water. I mean, like, it was just crazy. But anyway, so we had no sink for 2 or 3 days while we were hiring a plumber. I was able to come out and trade those out. So like $300 labor bill and $250 worth of equipment later, we're $500 up to our neck in a plumbing issue, but it's solved, and we're happy to have that. So that kind of brings me to the second point, which is that it kind of probably looks like everything that we're doing is half-baked. Like we don't know what we're doing, or we're using garbage materials, or buying cheap things. That is true to a point, but there's method to our madness. We are doing as much as we can on a really good budget while trying to get as much longevity out of it. But with the long-term plan, I keep using this phrase. I'm saying to everybody, I don't want to put good money after bad. So in other words, like, we realize that the old house, the original house, is going to have to come down, or at least go down to studs at some point. So, and when I say at some point, in the next few years. So we know that the foundation is bad at $50,000, which they're going to rip up all of the floors. That's a major project. And once that project starts, it's just going to snowball into the other ones. So the electrical needs to be redone. The plumbing needs to be redone. None of the walls are plumb because the foundation has sunk. None of the ceilings are level because the foundation has sunk, not to mention that the ceilings are multiple levels depending on what room you're in, and all of them are inadequate. The highest ceiling is 7 feet. The next one is 6.5 feet, and then there's one that is 6 feet. So, and then they're also just really badly done. And then like we've been able to look into those attic spaces, and there's really bad old insulation, and they're dirty, and we don't have a critter problem. Someone kept on top of that really well, but you find critter droppings that are very old, and it's just dirty and gross. Not to mention what we wonder about mold and asbestos and all these other things. The house is going to have to come down to studs at some point. So without going too deep into financial ruin in order to just replace that in a few years. We are very carefully, methodically making purchases like, this is not the cheapest product on the shelf, but it's not the highest product on the shelf, and we'll make it do until we can do that remodel. So, like I said, method to our madness. So that brings me to my third point, which is that none of this is intended to be professional and does not need any type of critiquing, including our videos. So if you are enjoying watching it, follow along. But essentially, this documentation started out as a way for us to document a unique period of our life and then share that with our friends and family. And interestingly, there were just a few other people who had more interest in it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll put it on YouTube because it's easier for people to access that. And so, like I said, I did find myself being like a little bit intimidated. Like, I don't really have content that is looks good, you know? So if you don't want to watch it, it's not for you. Find good YouTube families. But if you're interested to follow along and see a little bit of a transformation of the space that we're living in and the eventual building of our dream home, then you're welcome to follow along. This is more or less our family history. So in the following video, there are several unfinished projects. They're pretty raw and they're incomplete. So you'll have to watch future videos if you want to see how those were finished up. And then I did show a couple of them finished, but even the finished ones are part of something that's a bigger project. Like I redid a table for our schoolroom, but I haven't even touched the schoolroom right now because it's not one of the fires that needs to be put out. So if you want to see those later on, you're gonna have to come back and watch the other videos. And so here we go. So this is actually the only master closet, the only closet upstairs. And in our former house, it was a combination space where we kept our stuff and a bunch of the kids' stuff. Right now it's serving mainly as Rob's closet, but it also combines with our little boys' clothes because they don't have a closet, doubles with all the shoe space. We haven't put our shoes all away yet. And then just miscellaneous storage. So it's kind of a hot mess and doesn't give us a lot of space. We would probably utilize it better if we put up more bars. It's kind of wasted space, but it's expensive to add that on if we aren't going to keep this space as it is, which we're planning to change it up. So this is the space in our bedroom where we just got an armoire off of, or a wardrobe off of Facebook Marketplace, because we've been living with our clothes in baskets. There's just nowhere to put anything. So we found this IKEA wardrobe on Marketplace for super cheap. So we had to take out that baseboard. I changed out that receptacle because that's where our Wi-Fi plugs in, as you can see. Am I repainting the wall? Am I patching the holes? No, I am not, because I don't have time for that right now. We just need, I had to take out that light, and we're putting the armoire in here just so that we can put our clothes away and then address this bedroom at a later time. One fun thing though we did find, not really sure how great they're gonna be, but those are wood floors underneath this beautiful 70s carpet. So wish us luck. So this is what finally fit the space and is the best we can do. I haven't finished unpacking boxes, but at least I've got a place to put clothes. Internet's down there. And I mean, it's not great, but it's coming along. I'm tired of living out of boxes. I say that we're short on storage. This is actually just the landing to the stairs, and that's where Blythe's clothes go because we don't have anywhere else to put them. Speaking of a shortage of storage, our kitchen has a major shortage, and so we purchased this cabinet with a butcher block top from Amazon, and it also has an extendable leaf so that when we're all together making sandwiches or cooking together, which we often do, we can do that all together and give ourselves a little bit more storage, but also some more counter space. We found it particularly useful on conference when we were all making sandwiches together, and it's kind of nice when we all get to be in the kitchen together. So Nate and I threw that together. Okay, we just added this island And we added this, so now we have 2 more prep spaces since we're seriously short island space. Not to mention that board, which we originally had on top of the stove, but it got caught on fire. So we did this, and then this actually also, it slides away, and then we're able to lift that back. So we have quite a bit more counter space for prepping when everybody's working together in the kitchen. That's a little bit, it would be straighter if I had both legs on. So that is the current state of the additions to the kitchen. We haven't done any of the painting. It's still a disaster. We have a bunch of boxes still, as you can see, but it's coming along. And Ruby wants to show you how we got our snacks organized.
We got these little like containers where we can put a popcorn or your oatmeal.
Yep.
A yogurt bites, everything.
We'll get it more organized.
And then they used to be over there.
No, we got some of them still over there.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, storing the fruit and stuff. Piper showed this in another video, but we have some storage here too.
Okay, so I want to show you something about our house that I love so much. Is that there's this little table, and if you're like, why do you have a little table like in your kitchen? Like, that's so dumb. It's because we don't have that much space right here, so if you want, you can open this, and then there's little legs under here, and then you can like put those there, and then if you're like, oh, I want to make a shape, you can take your strawberries, cut them up, put them in your blender, or if you want to do a little combo, you can do bananas and strawberries and a little bit of sugar. You can just do that right on this little table. And so we got that for me and the whole family. So yeah.
Okay, so we went to Dollar General and we found some of these like containers. And so we got this size and this size. They were like $6 a piece, so. And then we also bought these like bins in a big size, a medium, and a small. Because we had been, like, my mom was looking everywhere on like Amazon and stuff, and she just couldn't find them. Like, they were like so expensive and stuff, and they were just like, ugh. So we were at Dollar General and we were like, oh, so we bought them. And we just put all of our snacks, I'm gonna show you like this. So we got all of our snacks here, all of our yummy, and then we also got like a bread box. And then we also have like one right here. Like you can see we're using those. And yeah, they're pretty nice. I feel fancy.
So we have this gigantic cabinet up here in my master bathroom, the only bathroom upstairs. And I think it's exactly the right size for canned goods downstairs. So we are trying to take it off and move it down to the kitchen. And since we were moving that cabinet down from the bathroom, we had to make a little bit more space on the wall in the kitchen where we wanted to put it by removing a little bit of the molding and baseboards there. I didn't have a proper saw for that, so I just used my Dremel, and everything we do is kind of like, yeah, it's very amateur. Also, yes, I'm barefoot, and also, yes, my hair is a disaster because I have no time for self-care. And yeah, this is how we do things around here. It's just kind of in between the rest of our lives. I also wanted to add that we did find some pretty groovy wallpaper. There was about 3 or 4 layers of it. Some of it was very 80s. So it looks like they did some remodeling then when burgundy was very popular. And then also I continued to plug away at painting the front living room and dining room and entryway. It's kind of the last burner thing that gets done, even though I really want that done first because it's a fun project, because we're constantly having to put out fires. So every time I have a little bit of a break, I try to do some painting. But I'm also a lazy painter in that I don't want to wash brushes or rollers, so I throw them away after I use them. So I try to get as much done as I can in one painting session so that I don't have to waste brushes and rollers as often. I just buy the cheap ones. Speaking of not having time for fun projects, I do fit them in now and then. I found these really cute French, I don't know what they're called, medallions. I got them at a flea market for $6 a piece, and I'm kind of obsessed with French artwork and French styling. So these might be kind of, I don't know, kitsch for somebody else, but I think they're really cute. So I repainted them in white and then did some distressing, and I don't know, it was kind of relaxing, kind of a break from doing all the house stuff. I'm hoping I actually hang them up at some point. I don't know if that'll happen. And I'll try and show these after they're completed. I'm just going to add that I know that taste is subjective, but something that I've kind of always lived by is if I love something and it makes me happy when it's in my house, I don't really worry about other people's rules for decorating. So I'm sure there are probably a lot of things that people would walk in and think, what on earth? That is just really old-fashioned and weird. But I love them, and they're things that make me happy. And I think that's a really important part of how we, decorate our houses, and what we put around us is items that we love. And like I said, that bring a smile to our face. So while we're remodeling the house and doing crafting projects, I also still have to plug away at schooling the kids. So we do spend time doing that every day. And unfortunately, we're still doing it at our dining table. So I am now refinishing a table that we've had for many years. It was a hand-me-down from my sister-in-law, Emily, many years ago, and has taken quite a beating. And so I've been plugging away at refinishing that so that we'll have a table in our schoolroom. And hopefully that will be nicer than having to, move our stuff all the time. Also, spring has hit, and it is absolutely beautiful here. And we're reminded why we moved to this property. And you can see that we got some deer on the property. I always miss them. They always see them, and I'm not paying attention, and I can't see from a distance. So anyway, we've been enjoying the spring weather and spending time outside in between all of the other projects and just trying to enjoy where we're at.
Oh, throw it, throw it, throw it. Boom, good girl. Oh, she scored. Wait, what is it? It's a ball.
poor Ruby has been kind of depressed because she really can't really use a lot of those. So today I did a thing. I found this on Facebook Marketplace, pretty cheap, and she's about to be surprised.
Oh! You said we were getting furniture!
I said we were getting furniture with the U-Haul.
This is furniture.
No busting, no breaking anything.
This is so cute!
You like it?
This is power.
Do you like it?
Wait, I got it. It actually works.
What do you think, Ruby?
I have always wanted this.
I know.
You gonna cook something?
Is it a
Miles?
win?
This is better than that, like, camper. This is way better. I'll be playing with this for
Every day.
But he's so happy.
What do you think, Riley? You like the little house?
Look at Rainbow. Is it nice? You like it?
Let her have the phone. There's a phone right here.
A phone? Oh, she likes that. Say hello. Oh, hello, Nike.